What's good, YouTube? It's Akansh over here, and I run a cold email lead gen agency. On behalf of our clients, we send anywhere between 300 to 400,000 emails every single month. We're 45 days in, and so I just want to give an overall recap um, as to what we've achieved so far, what the main learning lessons have been, and what we're looking to do moving into the future. So first, a quick just snapshot on revenue. Right now at around 3,700 cash collected for clients as we speak. This is actually outdated. I'm on 6 clients and the revenue is slightly higher. I made this image yesterday. We onboarded a couple more today morning. But yeah, big thing is, so the model, the way we work, it's a monthly tech fee to cover all the hard costs, and then there's a pay per lead system. We've been able to increase monthly tech fees every single new sales call we've had, just because with every new deal there's more like just conviction, certainty around the offer and what we're selling. So slightly higher every single deal. And then yeah, it's a pay per lead that's increased slightly, but nothing marginally or nothing significant. In terms of email, so we're sending right now 3,500 a day as we speak on the 18th of August. Tomorrow, that's going to be up to around 4,500. By the end of the week, it's going to be close to 5,500. And by the end of the month, it's going to be at 10K. So we're looking to really accelerate. The main kind of reason as to why we've been able to do this, and I might have mentioned this in an earlier video, is I spent some time now, like that we actually have some solid kind of days worth of data to calculate pretty much like a vending machine, right? If I put $1 in at the beginning of the month, how much am I going to get back at the end of the month after expenses, like actual net profit? And we were looking at like a 10x on month one. So month one, if we spent $1,000 to acquire X number of customers, our cost to acquire is like in low hundreds. So that could equal like, let's say 2, 3, 4 customers. We would be actually getting back almost 10x that. So that gave me all the confidence to be like, all right, let's just scale volume at this point. And that's exactly what we're doing. So conversions wise, over the past 30 days, it kind of breaks down. So the calls, it's been a lot higher more recently. I was trying out a couple different things. And the big reason why, for kind of, if we look over the 45-day time span, like over the past 2 to 3 days, calls have really picked up because of the volume of sending. But really over the past 20 days, there was a significant dip because we were running into a lot of infrastructure issues. And so those were one of the main learning lessons that I had. It's not just scaling the volume of infrastructure you have, but for each email inbox that you buy, you must purchase a duplicate as well. If not right at that point in time, like, ideally within best time is like on the day of purchase, you have a duplicate. But you kind of start forecasting and learning like how long typical emails last. And if you're doing something like a .com Google versus a .info Azure, they're going to have significantly different lifespans. And so you got to kind of figure out what that is, forecast that, and always have that repeat infrastructure. Otherwise, you're going to start hitting dips. And when you hit dips, kind of what we experienced for 20 days, you significantly decrease the volume of sending. So that was one of the main kind of learning lessons that we had. Another learning lesson is choosing clients. So, and this is kind of like a push and pull. When you're first starting out, you really take on as many clients as possible with the intention of getting better at what you're delivering. Obviously, doing something like a cold email lead gen agency, what I do to acquire clients, like my form of marketing, is what my delivery is. So it really helps with very quickly becoming better at delivery, because whatever you kind of learn in your own marketing, you implement in your delivery. So I've been able to see great success, but that doesn't always translate to clients. And so when you take on as many clients as possible, you quickly figure out which clients actually you can help, which clients are offers you probably can't and are not suitable for cold email. So you get better at being able to assess and kind of pick up, okay, this type of client I should take on, which one I shouldn't. You also get better at cold email overall because you're servicing so many different industries, so many different offers. And so the biggest thing that I learned is, whilst keeping that in the forefront of my mind, how to add a bit of friction here and there to the sales process to be able to choose clients more carefully. And so the biggest question, or the biggest kind of added friction I'm going to be implementing moving forward, is having some form of certainty that they've tried outbound in the work and they've seen some success, right? Because when the first clients that I brought on, they've never done outbound. they've never actually even sold cold traffic. The last time they brought on a client was on inbound, and that was a year ago. And so when you're tasked with now all of a sudden helping that person become, you're like breaking cold outbound for them, and you're validating their offer on cold traffic, that's such a huge task for you to be able to deliver on. And you're not even getting compensated accordingly for that. So it never makes sense. So that's another very, very big learning lesson that I had. And so overall, kind of just like my thesis, like moving forward, is right now working a ton of hours on not only my own acquisition, but then fulfillment. And that's kind of been the forefront of my mind, just work as many hours as possible. Because the more hours you work, the less luck you need to be able to see success. Like it's like you just keep sending emails, so you keep booking yourself calls, and even if you're bad at sales, like one person will convert, whether that's 30, 40, 50 calls, whatever it needs to take. And you need to take on risk. Like if you don't take on risk, if you don't increase the volume of emails you're sending, if you're not open with actually increasing your marketing budget, how do you expect to, number one, expect your clients to be also willing to upfront put up that cash if you yourself aren't willing to? And then number two, it's very illogical to expect the buyers that you want, your dream clients who have all the money in the world, to attract that level of buyer without actually putting the marketing dollars to get them. Because it's like everyone's bidding for those eyeballs, everyone's bidding to get in that inbox. How do you think you can kind of just siphon your way in without doing what's required in terms of volume and dollars to be able to get in the inbox? So that's kind of where my head has really been at. Just send as many emails as possible, even if you're not comfortable with every week purchasing $1,000. Sorry, not $1,000, but 1,000 emails per day extra of sending capacity. Just do it, because it's going to help you in the long run. Obviously, kind of look at like what your cash flow is and what your operating runway is, but within margin, like just kind of go all at it. So yeah, end of month, I'm going to be scaling to around 10,000 emails per day. Also increasing not only the tech fee for every single client that I speak with, but also the cost per book call or cost per show. And then it just really becomes a volume game from here. So yep, that's the update.